Alright, I was gonna preface this video by saying that the first few albums are pretty messed up covers, and I don't really feel like censoring them unless I have to. So this is a disclaimer for gore and disturbing images. If you don't like that, then just don't look at the screen, although I think there's really only going to be one. I'm going to show uncensored, so I'm sure it'll be fine. Uh, First off, there's three Disgorges, and they all happen to do brutal death metal. There's the one from California, I think. I just know they're from the U.S. The one from Mexico, which I'll be talking about, and then there's one from the Netherlands that only released one demo. I'm going to be talking about the Mexican one, obviously. So they tend to be overshadowed by their U.S. counterparts, but even though, I mean, the musicianship is still pretty top tier throughout their entire discography. So, but to be fair, gore grind is quite the niche to kind of slot yourself into. Um, so I'm going to start off with their first album, Chronic Corpora Infest. I'm not comfortable with showing this album completely uncensored, so I'm just going to show this image up on screen. Unfortunately, I don't have any other discography physically, although I do plan to change that. Um, but you get the gist anyway. In Chronic Corpora Infest, there's a few overly long samples, but really they're not too bad. It just gets straight into it. Production wise, it feels kind of flat, and it's clear they haven't really quite down the perfect raw mix yet. It sounds raw, it sounds muddy rather than raw, which is kind of okay. Um, Edgar is the guitar player, and is dull, but Antonio's bass is pretty audible. It's a decent trade-off as there are great riffs all over the album. There's also some good variety in the tracks, but it's kind of just held back by the muddy production. So their second album, Forensic. In this era of early Disgorge, Forensic is their apex, hands down. Thankfully, the use of samples was mostly gone. um, with samples more so being used as a palate cleanser. The music has gotten even more brutal with guilt. I'm gonna butcher this, okay? I don't speak Spanish at all. Um, Guillermo Garfias drumming is even more in the mix, and if you love raw mixing jobs, this is the gold standard. The drums in front, guitar and vocals in the middle, and the bass basically literally non-existent actually. Constant blast beats and impressive fills that really just makes the guitars just feel more punchy. So Disgorge also don't forget to slow things down for some crushing riffs, with the good majority of the album just being punishing gore grind. It's actually quite nice. I don't think Edgar Garcia is slacking outside of brutal riffs. He throws in some variety that still fits in the speed that gore grind requires. Antonio Buonnano's bass may be completely gone, but his gutturals are pretty impressive actually. No pitch shifting, and he does these super low gutturals constantly, consistently. It's quite impressive since he's the only one doing vocal work, and it also helps that this album is just long enough at 36 minutes, which give like maybe 5 minutes give or take for samples. Overall, if you want an excellent brutal death metal album with gore grind, look no further. It would take a while for the band to surpass this. And then we have their compilation album Gorelix. This is a demo compilation, and it absolutely rules. There's a surprising amount of variety on the tracks, and the best part, not a sample in sight. Hearing Antonio's clean bass playing is insane, as he's really good. As for the production, it's better than the first two albums, which really isn't a high bar to pass. But it's in that classic demo semi-swampiness, which everyone gets a chance to shine. Big track highlights are Grotesque Devourment and Monument to My Remains. This is the must-have for fans of early Disgorge, and it's also pretty cheap on Discogs, like $5. Now comes Necro Holocaust, which came out in the early 2000s, probably 2003. This is the album where they attempt to modernize their sound, like a crack act going clean and working at IT. The only problem is that it greatly waters down what made Discord so great in the first place, and there's only weaker songwriting with the riffs. As weird as it is, there's one great riff on every song, but the rest are mediocre. There's a clear improvement on the vocal front, with Antonio sprinkling in some black metal rasp, but although it is brief, it's still mostly just impressively low gutturals. With a modern sound comes a modern production. No more filth, we going clean. Drums get shoved in the back, Antonio gets his bass back, and Edgar's in the front. It's fine, but again, it waters down to make Disgorge as infamously brutal as they were in the underground. And then we have their very last album, Gore Blessed to the Worms. Yeah, I have no idea what they were thinking with that album title. Considering that I didn't like Nickel Holocaust that much, I kind of had low expectations. But boy, this album smacks me silly in my assumption. Disgorge have perfected their sound, but now without standing on the shoulders of the previous work. Has the intense speed of Forensic, the clean production of Necro Holocaust, the variety of Chronicle Pora Infest. The mixing is just right, and the drummer has time to shine, like Discord should. The band goes on the edge of insanity at times, with sudden stops followed by intense speed. You know those black metal raps that are briefly done before? Antonio expands on that, trading between his low two vocal styles frequently enough. Leaves some dual vocals in here and there. While it is leaning towards death grind, it's clearly the final evolution of their sound, and it's clearly the best way that the band could have done their last album. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I kind of just wanted to kind of just do a review of their entire discography. This is one of my favorite gore grind bands and slash brutal death metal of all time. I think that Disgorge is one of the bands that kind of does this genre blend the best. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully I will see you next time.